Super K kids! It's nice to be with you again. I will be your learning buddy for today's episode. I am Teacher Rose Ann Anchiete, and this will surely be another fun learning journey. So sit back, relax, and enjoy watching Super K Teleskwela. For this special episode, you will be able to learn about separating mixtures through decantation and evaporation. Before we proceed with the discussion, let us give you a hanging question or trivia. Are you ready, kids? Since we are dealing about mixtures and the different ways on how to separate them, is it possible to separate oil from water? You will surely discover the answer as we go through with our discussion. Let's go, kids! It's time to start your learning adventures. The Super K Teleskwela. Prepare yourselves now as we are about to begin our first activity. Get hold of your module and paper and pencil. Are you guys ready? This is your first learning task. We will flash on the screen the activity you need to answer. Using your answer sheet, choose which among the following pictures or illustrations show a method of separating mixtures. Draw a check mark using your finger for the illustration that shows a method of separating mixtures and a cross mark if not. Time's up, kids! Let's now check your answers. How did you classify picture number 1? Does it show a method of separating mixtures? Correct! How about the second picture? Good job! And the third? Excellent! You're doing great, kids! You will have a deeper understanding about our lesson if you keep tuned in the Super K Teleskwela. We describe mixtures as a combination of two or more substances that are not chemically combined. The substances are mixed together but no new substance is formed. And remember this, kids, mixtures are important in our everyday living. Why? We use mixtures in any ways such as in food preparation, personal grooming, cleaning agents at home, and medicines that cure different diseases. However, sometimes we need to separate mixtures because at times we need to separate the components of mixtures to make them beneficial and to recover the substance that we will be using. There are many different techniques for separating mixtures into their components. The most appropriate techniques depend on the type of mixture and the physical properties of the components. It also depends on whether you want to retrieve all the components or not. For this lesson, we will be concentrating with the two ways of separating mixtures, decantation and evaporation. Try to watch carefully as I perform our first activity. The following are the materials needed: glasses, soil, and water. Mix soil and water in a clear glass. Leave the mixture untouched for a while. Observe what will happen in the mixtures. As you observe the soil settles at the bottom and the water becomes almost clear liquid, you can now pour out gently the clear water into another glass without disturbing the soil particles. Question: how can you clear up muddy water? Correct, kids! So in our activity, we were able to make a mixture of soil and water in a glass. Since soil does not dissolve in water, they start to settle at the bottom of the glass. Then keep the glass undisturbed till all the particles settle down. This is called sedimentation. The almost clean liquid lying above the sediments can be poured out gently into another glass without disturbing the soil particles. This is called decantation. Decantation is pouring out upper clear layer of liquid into another container to separate two immiscible or unmixable liquids or a solid and a liquid. I know through the first activity, you had a deeper understanding about decantation. Let us have another process used in separating mixtures, which is evaporation. Let's try another activity. But before we proceed with our next activity, I would like to remind you that this experiment requires fire, ask the help of your parents or guardian in performing it. For this activity, you will be needing aluminum pan or evaporating dish, electric or gas stove, salt, and water. Here's what you will do. Mix thoroughly salt in water in an aluminum pan. Put the mixture in a stove. Let it boil till the water disappears. Observe what happens. Look into the pan. Here are your guide questions. After boiling the mixture, what happened? What was left in the pan? What was separated from the salt? Evaporation is the process of changing the phase of liquid water to water vapor. This can also be used in separating a mixture of an insoluble material from one which is soluble, like the mixture of water and salt. Evaporation can also be used as a separation method to separate components of a mixture with the dissolved solid in a liquid. The liquid is evaporated, meaning it changed from its liquid state to gaseous state. This is often requires heat. Once the liquid has completely evaporated, the solid is all that is left behind. As you have observed in the activity, water gradually disappears during the boiling process, and the salt is left in the pan. Did you get it, kids? If so, get your paper and pencil and continue learning by answering this activity. For your first activity, draw a star if the statement tells something about decantation, and heart if it's evaporation technique in separating mixtures. For number 1, it can separate soluble solids in liquids. Number 2, liquid turns into gas when heated. For number 3, using 2 containers to separate 2 immiscible liquids. For number 4, in this process, solid substance is being left behind. For number 5, it separates immiscible liquids to miscible one. For the second activity, identify the process or techniques being used in separating the following mixtures. Write D for decantation or E for evaporation on the blank. For number 1, sand and water. Number 2, calamansi seeds and calamansi juice. Number 3, salt and water. Four, oil and water. And for number 5, powdered juice from liquids. When we return, we will be revealing the correct answers. So stay tuned after a short break. For our trivia, think about this. Can you separate oil from water?
At ang Kapampangan, Super Cake! Batang Kapampangan, Super Cake!
Welcome back, Super K Kids! Are you now ready with your answers? Let's see if you will get a perfect score. What process is being described in number 1? Is it star or a heart? You're right! It's heart for evaporation. In number 2, great! It's heart again. Number 3, great job! It's a star for decantation. Number 4, excellent! It's a heart. And finally, number 5, yes, it's a star. And for part 2, the following are the correct answers. How did you fare in the test, kids? Congratulations if you hit a perfect score. If not, there will still be another activity for you to make up. Now that you are familiar with the methods of separating mixtures through decantation and evaporation, let's try recalling what you have learned so far. What method is being used in separating insoluble solids from liquids? How about the method that separates soluble solids from liquids with the help of heat? You deserve 2 thumbs up for watching attentively and participating in our discussion. This time, I want to hear from you some examples of mixtures that can be separated through decantation and evaporation. You're doing a great job, kids! Knowing the different methods in separating mixtures could be a great help in our daily living. There are instances that we need to separate the components of mixtures to recover the substances that we will be using. After hearing you giving the correct answers, I believe you are ready for our final task. Again, ready your paper and pen and try this activity. To answer this part, you need to listen carefully so you will be able to choose the correct answer. You may write your answer in your notebook. Number 1, what separation technique that involves a heating solution until the liquid changes into gaseous state, leaving a solid after the process? A. Decantation, B. Evaporation, C. Filtration. Number 2, which method separates mixture with undissolved solutes? A. Decantation, B. Evaporation, C. Filtration. Number 3, which of the following mixtures can be separated through decantation? A. Sugar and water, B. Kerosene and water, C. Salt and vinegar. Number 4, what change of state occurs during evaporation? A. Solid to liquid, B. Liquid to solid, C. Liquid to gas. Number 5, which of the following can be separated through evaporation? A. Fruits with different kinds, B. Oil and water, C. Salt and water. Okay, Super K Kids, let's see how well you did in these last activities. Listen attentively and check your answers. What is your answer in number 1? You're right! How about in number 2? Correct! For number 3? Bravo! What about in number 4? Very good! Finally, for number 5? Good job, Super K Kids! For the next activity, identify the following statement if it is true or false. Write true if the statement is correct. If it is false, write the correct word to make the statement correct. Number 1, salt can be separated from water through decantation. Number 2, decantation is pouring solvent to another container without disturbing the settled particles to separate them completely. Number 3, you cannot separate oil from water. Four, evaporation can be used to remove the water content of a mixture. 5, heat is needed in the process of evaporation. Okay, Super K kids, let's see how well you did in these last activities. Listen attentively and check your answers. What is your answer in number 1? You're right. How about in number 2? Correct. For number 3? Bravo! What about in number 4? Finally, for number 5? Congratulations, Super K kids! You really did an amazing job in this episode. Just before we end our Teleskwela, let's go back to the trivia or question posed before we start the first segment. Can you separate oil from water? What do you think is the answer? You are indeed correct. It's yes. We can separate oil from water. Did you enjoy our session today, kids? I do hope that you learned a lot from your learning adventures. How about giving yourself a great job clap? Again, this is Teacher Rose Ann. Please tune in again tomorrow, same time, same station, for another learning journey with Super K Teleskwela. Till then, happy viewing!
Super K, Super K, Teleskwela para sa kinabukasan. Super K, Super K, karunungan at kabutihang asal, kagalingan